Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and today I'm bringing you my top 10 beers of 2018. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen other videos of mine, but in case you haven't seen me, let me introduce myself. I'm Sean. I make videos about Michigan beer. This is my show, Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping in, and thanks for watching. Now, I've made roughly 100 videos just this year, so I've gotten a chance to try a wide variety of all the stuff that's out there in Michigan. So without any further ado, let's get into the list. Number 10, French Toast Devil Dog from Roque Brewing. This was a beer that I'd had in the tap room in Roque's tap room earlier this year, and I knew it'd be coming out at some point for home usage. And when it did, I wasn't disappointed. Check it out. So let's go ahead and crack this open and give it a nose right out of the bottle here. Wow, that is like, it smells just like maple syrup. So let's go ahead and pour this. Wow, coming out really dark out of the bottle, as you would expect from a nice thick oatmeal stout, and collecting the glass nicely. So it's very opaque. It's got a really like slight brown hue to it. Cheers. So I'm getting a nice maple sweetness in it, but I'm also getting this kind of cinnamon taste as well, you know, for obviously French toast. And it's kind of weird because when I take a drink of it, I get that maple, I get a little bit of a cinnamon burn. It doesn't taste like 8.3%, that's for sure. It's got a really nice medium mouthfeel. And you might think I'm crazy, but after I swallow, the aftertaste almost kind of has this buttery kind of saltiness to it. It's not super strong. It's like really subdued, really hidden, really low in the flavor profile, but it's in there, I can tell. Number 9. Rainbows and Waterfalls from Transient Artisan Ales. Okay, so up until I had this beer, I had heard up and down about how great Transient Hazy IPAs were. I had a few that I wasn't super impressed with, but this is where I came on board. Let's crack that open, give it a whiff here. Getting a bit of a citrusy tropical scent out of there. Hazy yellow, golden yellow coming out of the can, very hazy. The beer itself is like kind of a pineapple juice looking color. It's a little bit yellow, a little bit on the orange side, but it goes from pale yellow on the outside to a little bit of a darker, deeper brownish orange in the middle here. I'm going to go ahead and dive in. So cheers. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yes. What was lacking in the aroma department is definitely being paid off in the flavor. So it's got a nice medium mouthfeel. It's not soft necessarily. It's not really thick, but it's kind of like right in between there. It's like a little bit on the soft side, but a little bit on the thick side. It's right in a happy medium right in between there. Up front, there's not a whole lot of taste when it first gets in your mouth. I don't have a whole lot of like a bursting juiciness or anything like that, but it's as it settles on my tongue. Rather than being kind of overwhelmed with bitterness, you know, at the tail end, where sometimes you usually pick the bitterness of a beer up on the tail end in the finish, I'm actually getting a bit of a sweetness in there. The pineapple kind of sweetness comes through right there. This, you don't get so much sweetness right up front. It's kind of really subdued at the beginning, but all the payoff is in the finish, because that's when you get the sweetness, you get the bitterness on the tail end there with all together right at the end. So it's like you're drinking it, but the whole time you're just anticipating when the flavors are going to really jump in there, and that's in the swallow, the tail end, the finish is when you get that really pineapple sweetness, and you get that bitter citrus finish. So it mixes together really well. Number 8, Your Mother on French Toast from Pigeon Hill Brewing Company. I hadn't had much stuff from Pigeon Hill before this year, but of all the beers that I've tried, this is where they really started to hit their stride with me. So watch this. I'm gonna give it a smell here out of the can. Really maple, a lot of maple scent. Picking up on a little bit of vanilla, and that is nice and dark. Pouring out of the can, super dark. Smells very, very good. Let's give it a taste. That is big time maple syrup, maple taste, and really, really surprisingly smooth. This one's, what I say, like 11.5% ABV. This is not syrupy at all. It is really super light. It's really smooth. Again, picking big time up on the maple. The vanilla kind of goes hand in hand with that maple, but it has a nice, warm kind of cinnamon taste on the tail end that kind of lingers with you. The aftertaste really picks up that cinnamon. It's not boozy at all. There's no burn. I don't feel any burn as it goes down, but it's just really smooth. And again, Pigeon Hill for me continues to impress. I don't think I've had anything from them so far that I haven't liked. Number 7, Lake Haze from Big Lake Brewing. Sessionable IPAs on their own right can be kind of low on flavor, and I was really surprised by how much taste this New England style IPA had for having such low ABV, and now they've gone on to release different versions of this beer, Blood Orange Lake Haze, and their college flavored versions for Michigan State and U of M. This gives new meaning to a sessionable IPA. Let's give that a crack. Getting nice tropical scents out of the can. A lot of pineapple, obviously very reminiscent of most New England style IPAs. Pouring nice and light yellow. That looks like pineapple juice. Smells really good, so I'm gonna go ahead and dive in. It is very kind of light on the ABV. I think I said it was 5.5%, so that's kind of light for New England style IPA, but they kind of come in all shapes and colors, so I won't hold it against it. Let's give it a taste here. But yeah, it's really nice and light. The mouth feels light. It's not thick. It's not syrupy. It's not it doesn't really have a juicy kind of mouthfeel. But the flavor profile at the very beginning, like I said, is that really strong kind of lemony, citrusy flavors. I'm not getting a lot of kind of pineapple tastes out of it, not a lot of tropical tastes out of it. Because again, at 5.5%, it's really nice. It's really light. You're not going to drink a bunch of these, or you could drink a bunch of these, but you're not going to drink one and be sidelined. When you go with an M43 or when you go with another, like a Boss Tweed or any of the Old Nation ones, the ABV content's kind of up there a little bit. So you have to kind of plan yourself around drinking something like that. But when it's at 5.5%, you can have a couple of these before it's really going to start to hit you. And that's never a bad thing. And with it getting warmer out, it's nice to kind of relax and have a nice drink and not have to worry about what you got going on for the rest of the day. Number 6, Hipster Brunch Stout from Oddside Ales. Most people are into the barrel-aged version, the rye hipster brunch, and they say that's the better one. But for me, I'd rather just have the regular one. It's full of great flavors. Maple, coffee, bacon in a beer. You bet. Check this out. We'll crack that open. I'm picking up on a little bit of a bourbon. I get chocolate out of this, really kind of strong chocolate. I'm definitely picking up bacon in the scent. That is dark. It's pouring really kind of thick, viscous out of the bottle here. Yeah, I'm actually picking up the bacon in the taste. When I started nodding my head when I was drinking, that's what I was picking up. It's kind of that smokiness, that smoky kind of bacon, smoked bacon kind of taste that I'm getting out of it. It's actually really weird because you pick up the bacon, you pick up the coffee, you pick up the maple syrup. So you get that bourbony kind of taste to it, but you get, I think that kind of almost transforms into the maple syrup kind of taste. And you get that coffee, that bitter kind of coffee taste. But yeah, you most definitely get a bacon, smoky bacon out of this. When I saw bacon on the, obviously on the label and reading it on the thing, I was like, yeah, bacon, whatever. That's just going to be some kind of gimmick. But yeah, you definitely pick up on all three of those things. Number 5, Electron Brown from Old Nation. They're known more for their New England style IPAs, but Old Nation releases this beer and it goes statewide, and it shows that they're not just a one-trick pony. It's a late addition to my list, but I think it's worth checking out. Let's go ahead and get a smell out of the can here. Getting a lot of coffee bean kind of scent. Pouring this, it's coming out brown, and let's get a better nose here, which I don't know why I need to do this because all I smelled was coffee, and it smells absolutely delicious. And if it tastes anything like this, I'm gonna be really happy. So let's go ahead and give this a taste. Cheers. It's sweet. In the middle of the swallow, that's when I start really picking up the coffee. Yeah, I really, really like this. I was excited to try it. And with some kind of beers, you get really excited to try it, and then you try it, and it's like, well, that was okay. But this is actually, I'm getting a lot of what I thought it would be. I didn't, out of smelling it, I expected it to be a lot really like in your face, blow up, like coffee kind of taste and everything with the scent being so strong. But the coffee is subtle. It's there. You can definitely taste it, but it's not overpoweringly. It's not like drinking coffee grounds, but it's got a good coffee taste nonetheless. Number 4, Guava Sherbet from Holmes Brewery. Holmes does so many things so good, so I don't think it should be a surprise to anybody that they have a beer on my list. I still think about how good Guava Sherbet is, and they release new sherbet flavors every couple months, but this is still my favorite, and I think it's the best one they've done so far. Let's crack this open. And we'll give it a smell, as we usually do. Can't get a handle on this very well. Kind of guava scent coming out of it, but very sour also. So let's pour this. It's nice and pink. It's thick. It looks cloudy and hazy. It really looks, it's kind of like a pinkish orange. Now, very rarely do I jump in and say something like this is really good. This is sour. It's got a little bit of a sourness, a little bit of a saltiness to it, but it is so unbelievably smooth. It is not nearly as sour as I was expecting from the scent. Kind of smelling this, you get kind of that, I don't want to say, you kind of get that saline, kind of salty, sour kind of scent coming from it, but when you drink it, it is so nice and balanced and smooth. You get that sourness up front, but that sourness is almost immediately cut with this really nice and sweet guava taste. It's not, again, neither side is overpowering. The sweetness doesn't overpower the sourness. You get that sourness note right up at the beginning, and it's just followed with that sweetness. And then as the sweetness from the guava subsides, you just get this nice kind of mild, salty, a little bit kind of a dryish finish. I can't say that I've had a beer from Holmes yet that I haven't been really impressed, or just I had to tell somebody about it because it's so good. So again, great job by Holmes. Number 3, Night Fury Tracks from Witch's Hat. I've had a lot of stouts, especially later in the year. So many more stouts come out. And, you know, a lot of people have always mentioned how these different Night Fury versions or varieties are. I had never had Tracks before this year, and that's a huge disappointment because now that I've had it, it is easily my favorite stout of the year. I smell a lot of molasses. I just opened it and I could smell it like right in my face. So it's a really nice smell. It's sweet. It smells very sweet. Getting a little bit of molasses, getting a little of that bourbon, getting a tiny faint peanut kind of scent out of it. That is dark. That is black, like oil. It's very sweet up front. The bourbon's really kind of up front in there, but it's not overpowering. The mouth feels really nice and medium. It's not syrupy. It's not super thick. It just kind of, it's a nice medium kind of mouthfeel, considering that it's 13.5%. You know it's bourbon barrel aged. I would think that it would be a little bit more syrupy, but it's really smooth, really nice and medium mouthfeel. So I'm getting, again, the bourbon up front, the molasses, then I'm getting like this really nice sweet, chocolatey kind of taste in the tail end. I get a tiny bit of like a roasted peanut flavor, a little bit of vanilla in there as well. It's really complex, but really good. I almost got it in the smell too. It's like this kind of sugar cone, like you get an ice cream, you get a sugar cone. It's kind of like that sugar cone kind of taste, and it's really good. The Burning Foot Festival, which I've gone to, and Fury for a Feast have been the same day. So having this, it's really tearing me apart because now I've never had this, so I didn't know what I was missing. And now that I've had it, it's kind of like, do I want to go back to Burning Foot, or do I want to go to Fury for a Feast and pick up some bottles of this? Because it's delicious. Like I don't know in recent memory a stout that I've had that has been this good, and I can only imagine this is fresh. Number 2, Spooltorf from Ascension Brewing Company. If you didn't know, Spooltorf is Fruit Loops spelled backwards. And this IPA is one of the most amazing beers I've had this year. It combines this fruitiness, lactose, and a little tiny bit of marshmallow to just make this really great and unique tasting beer. Watch this. So it has a hoppy scent to it. Hazy coming right out of the can here. This is a New England style. It's 9.2% New England style. They say Fruit Loops, marshmallow, milk, sugar, all this stuff. Wow. Super juicy, super sweet, very fruity, very Fruit Loopy, if I can even say that. And you get that like kind of mosaic hoppiness, right? So if you've had a lot of New England's, Mosaic's used a lot. Galaxy is the other one in here. Galaxy's used quite a lot too. It has this kind of tropical fruit kind of taste to it, and it definitely has that totally fruity juiciness up front. If I could kind of differentiate it, if I could split it up, it's got a lot of citrus fruit tastes in it, very sweet, very juicy, 9.2%, very, very, very dangerous. This does not have the taste of a 9.2% beer. If you drink like a 7% IPA, sometimes you can pick up on that alcohol a little bit. It's got a little bit of a strong character. Because this is so juicy and so sweet up front, it masks that 9.2%. So again, if you're going to be drinking these, be very careful, because 9.2% is going to sneak up on you very quickly. I speak from experience, believe me. Yeah, just very sweet. You can taste like the milk sugar. You can taste that lactose in there. It's on the tail end. Once you hit the initial fruit, citrusy sweetness up front, a little bit of a mango. Once you pass that, then you get that lactose. You get the milk sugar taste, and I'm not really picking up so much on marshmallow, but it could be like the intermediary between the juiciness, the citrus juiciness, and then the lactose. There's like a little step in between, and as it blends in. And last but not least, number 1, Rainbow Colors Blended from Batch Brewing Company. I can honestly say I don't know if I've ever had a milkshake IPA that was this juicy, this thick. And as frequent commenter No Jinx said on Untapped, it's like having Sunny D in a glass. Now, I'd recommend you have a non-beer drinker try this beer just to see what they think, but I would almost not want to give it to them. So number 1, you can keep it for yourself. And number 2, you're going to disappoint them for all other beers that they try. This is so sweet, so juicy. It's almost like it's not a beer. Yeah, I just have to say my number 1 pick overall is Rainbow Colors Blended from Batch Brewing Company in Detroit, Michigan. We're going to go ahead and open this and put a nose on it. Has a faint sweet smell. Again, it's just out of the can, so we're not getting a great sample out of here, but a little bit dank. Actually has a bit of a kind of citrus note in there, and it smells really sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this. Super hazy coming out of the can. Not much of a head to speak of. It's kind of forming a little bit more now. Wasn't super aggressive on the pour, but I would think I'd get a little bit more, but it looks very thick. So it's kind of an orange color, a little bit darker orange towards the center here. I'm going to tell you without even holding it up to the light, this isn't going to be transparent. It's going to be very hazy. And it is very hazy. Like I can barely see the shadow of my hand going between my lights and this beer. So this is super hazy, and put a better nose on it. Yeah, I'm getting the same kind of scent that I was getting out of the can. So I'm getting, it's a bit sweet, a bit dank. It smells, I'm getting a little bit of a citrus smell out of there. So I'm ready to just go ahead and dive in. So cheers. Oh my goodness. This is definitely juicy. So the tail end is where I'm picking up I'm going to start there because that's where I'm getting like right now. It's more of the tail end is more of the lactosey sweetness. The front end is huge notes of passion fruit, mango. This is really good. So you get that juiciness, you get the mango, you get the passion fruit, and then there's no bitterness. Like I'm not picking up any bitterness at all. It's like drinking fruit juice. So I guess I would say if you like juicy beers, you'll love this. If you're not really into juicy beers, and if you're not into juicy beer that doesn't have that IPA kind of quality to it, this might not be one for you, but I love this. It's nice and sweet. It's nice and smooth. It's very dangerous. 8.9%. Again, no boozy bite, no bitterness, no hoppy, no intense hoppy flavor. It's just like drinking juice. I think if you took this and gave it to somebody that didn't drink craft beer and said, hey, is this bitter? Do you taste any kind of pininess or citrus kind of bitterness? They'd say, oh yeah, I tell you, I can taste it. But for someone like me that drinks, or like us that you're watching this channel, you drink a lot of types of beers like this. There's not a whole lot of bitterness to this at all. I'm not really picking up on much hoppy character. All right, friends, that was my top 10 of Michigan beers for this year of 2018. Do you have a top 10? Do you keep track of stuff like this? Do you have a top 5 or a top 3? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to see what your guys' list include. Do they have any of the beers that I have on my list? Did I just totally screw up and miss one that you thought was super obvious that I should have added into the list? Again, let me know your thoughts down below. While you're down there, you can find links to all the gear that I use, different merch, my blog at Draft Therapy, social media, all that good stuff. So click those links. And until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by and thanks for watching. And remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries, and don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers.